This is quite extraordinary for me because I never thought that I would actually be saying this, but I'm going to say a very good morning to the guy who just sung Rubber Ball. A very good morning to the legend who is Marty Wilde. Hello, Marty. How are you?
Pretty good, Paul. Thank you.
It's great to have you on the programme, Marty. I honestly didn't think I would ever see the day when I would actually be interviewing you on any radio station anywhere in the world. It's great to have you along. Now, there is a reason, of course, why you're here. You're appearing at the Apex Theatre on the 2nd of March, aren't you, with the Wildcats?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, tell us what people can expect.
Well, obviously, quite a few of my songs that I had in the charts. Also, mostly a lot of nostalgia and just great fun, really. I mean, it's a very happy show and it's fast moving. Quite a lot of nostalgia, obviously, because that's I'm from a bygone era. So yeah, but I love the show. I love doing it, and I'm proud to do it, and it's an absolute pleasure because it does give people, a kick, especially people that come from that era and also people that are interested in the music of the 50s and 60s and 70s. It's a lovely show to do, Paul.
I've been promoting this all over social media, actually, because I wanted as many people as possible to know that I was actually going to be talking to the Marty Wilde. And I have to say, I've put on there, actually, that I'm almost old enough to remember your early days, along with people like Tommy Steele and Cliff Richard and people like that. What were those days like, Marty?
They were phenomenal. I mean, compared to what goes on today, they were like 2,000 times better. They were absolutely fantastic. There was so much excitement. There was great music coming out all the time, every day. There was great optimism, phenomenal optimism in our country. Where young people were doing things, creating things. We had some great musicians and music and stars as good as anyone, sometimes as good as anyone in the world, and sometimes better than most of the people in the world. So it was a great time. It really kicked off around about 57, 58, and then it just carried on, through the Beatles, Stones, and then beyond that, and then on to Kim and all that. So it's always been, to me, like an ongoing, moving thing, but in the original days when it first started, that was the biggest kick for me, obviously, because we had rock and roll and we had, the times were different. Anyone listening to this show will be nodding. Times were different, very, very different to today.
Yeah,
and it was it.
Carry on, sorry.
And every day there would be a new song come out that you loved. If it wasn't Paul Anka, if it wasn't Cliff Richard, if it wasn't someone else, if it wasn't the Kinks later on in life, every day from the late 50s on, right through to the 80s and 90s and beyond, there's been a song every other day. It's a very exciting time, I think, to have been alive and to have witnessed all these years.
It's interesting. You just mentioned a name that's reminded me, actually. I actually interviewed Paul Anka many years ago as well. Shows how long I've been in this as well. But honestly, you really are going strong, aren't you? At a ripe old age now as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I've survived, but I suppose I do. Someone asked me the other day how I've survived, and I think it's just great love of music. I adore what I do. I live for it, and it gives me great pleasure when I'm in front of an audience. I see their faces. Some of the songs and that they're going to really recognize or they might really enjoy, and their faces light up. And that's what I'm there for. That's what I'm, and also I laugh at myself. I have to laugh at myself. No, I do not take myself seriously at all. And so it's a celebration of age, and I talk to them as I'm talking to you now. It's an absolute pleasure.
We're talking to Marty Wilde, who's going to be appearing at the Apex on the 2nd of March. And I have to say, I've interviewed people like the 3 Degrees and Lindisfarne and many others like them. They all say exactly the same as you have just said, Marty. And that is, you do it because you just love performing on stage. Yeah,
I mean, it's just it's nothing to do with it's not to do with money. I've done that. I've done things many times for nothing, free. It wasn't that at all, and I've travelled to areas where I got nothing at all, but that wasn't the point of doing it. The point wasn't for money; it was for to in front of people because obviously you're going to get something back because it helps one's, I suppose you could say, to a certain extent, one's ego. But I get a kick out of seeing their faces. If they're happy when they leave the theatre, then I know I've done my job. I've done my thing, and I believe that people should work really hard. And if you work hard at what you do and try to perfect yourself to try and get better and better and better, you eventually, your things are you'll make things happen. And in our show, we, very often, you just get a little. There was a lovely touch. The one that was a lovely touch, which still brings almost a tear to my eye, was I had a letter which I've actually photographed. It's going to be in my book. I've got a book coming out shortly, and it will be in the book. But a daughter of a lady, she said, "My mother saw you when you were 17 in one of the shows. She was 17, and you kissed her hand. I'm bringing her to see your show. Would it be possible to meet her afterwards?" So anyway, I did the show, and I came down, and there was a crowd of people outside, and there was the girl who'd written a letter to me with this fragile lady who was now 82. And so we started talking, and she said, "And you kissed my hand." And the lovely thing was I grabbed hold of her hand, and I kissed her hand again. There was something about that moment that was magical. I can't explain it.
No,
it just was magical.
I get that, Marty, absolutely. I actually shook Barry White's hand once, and I have never, ever forgotten it at all. And incidentally, I can kind of vouch for the fact that you're not doing this for the money these days. You're doing it for the absolute total enjoyment of both yourself and the audience, because I spoke to a lady on the phone earlier on who I thought might have been your daughter Kim, actually, but in fact it was your wife Joyce, and she said, "Oh, he's down the other end of the house. I'll go and get him." So it certainly sounds as though you've done well. Now, it's interesting you should mention an 82-year-old lady whose hand you kissed, because you've still got an awful lot of fans around this part of the world, the Waveney Valley. And I got a message from one, didn't I, last night? And we were communicating last night. Maybe you could read that one out as well, Marty.
Yeah, I have. This is, we had it came from Jules. It was a message from Jules. Jules Harper, her name is. I think that's right. That's right, Jules Harper. And she's coming with her sister, Karen, but more importantly, she's going to bring her mum with her, and that's Wendy Harper. So, Wendy, if you're listening, you're going to get a great show, kid. I promise you that. And if you'd like to meet me in the intermission, I shall organise it, and I can shake your hand and I'll kiss it. But if I kiss it, it's 1 6 or 1 9.
And it's Wendy Harper's birthday, actually, just before the event. I think on the 1st of March. So her family are actually bringing her to the Apex, especially to see you as part of her birthday celebrations. And I must mention Andy Harper as well, because that's brother, and I think he's going to be there also. They are really looking forward to it, Marty. I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely fabulous night for you.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, as I say, I just love what I do, and I shall try and make Wendy Harper a really happy lady that night.
I'm sure you will. Marty, it is great to talk to you. Just mention to your daughter I'd love to interview her as well, won't you?
I will.
In fact, you've got a very musical family. Roxanne sings as well, and Ricky, of course, as well, don't they?
Yeah, and my grandchildren as well.
You see what you've done, Marty.
Well, yeah, I know. I started the ball rolling. There's no question of that.
For sure.
That's great. I love it to be ongoing with them, and they all love music, and they're all good. They all sing lovely harmonies. So, they got that feeling inside them, which does pass through. There's no question. Because my father used to always, during the 40s, early 40s, and during the war and just after, my father, when the radio came on, he always sang the harmonies. He would never sing so I learned to sing harmonies when I was about 6 or 7. And so, music was always in me from a young child. And it's the biggest love of my life. I adore music, all sorts of music, classical music, modern day music. I was looking at the American Top 50 just recently, and people marvel that an 85-year-old man still looks at the American Top 50. But I love music, and I love to know where it's going, and I like to see what younger artists are doing, as well as obviously artists of my genre, So.
I have to say, Marty, I'm exactly the same as you, which is why I love doing what I'm doing as well. So well done for that. Of course, you've had a chart hit in every decade since the 1950s. So congratulations on that. You're still making music as well. You had a song out recently called Running Together, didn't you?
I did, and which I'm very proud of. I shall be singing that in the show. I'll sing that one for Wendy. Running Together, and also I have a new song, but I won't be doing that in the show just yet, but I have a new song called Two Eyes Streaming, which is my next single, and so I'm looking forward to eventually that will go into the show, but that will come out in quite shortly, in April, I believe, or even before, so I'm looking forward to that coming out.
Well, listen, good luck with that new single. I'm going to play Running Together for you now, actually. I thank you so much for being with me on the programme today, Marty Wilde, and a mention once again, it's the Apex Theatre, 2nd of March, 7:30 in the afternoon. I guess there might be some tickets available still. You can buy those through their website. And Marty Wilde, I hope you have a great time in Bury St Edmunds.
Thank you, Paul. And, anyone that's listening who wants to come along to the show, come along, you'll enjoy it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Marty.
Take care. Take care.